Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is set to shuffle his cabinet tomorrow morning, days after longtime loyalist Chrystia Freeland called it quits on his inner circle in an open letter accusing Trudeau of pursuing costly political gimmicks in the face of Donald Trump's recession-risking tariff threats. The Prime Minister now has to rebuild his front bench. Here's Justin Trudeau's cabinet as it stands now. Notice the highlights in the blue boxes. You've got ministers who are currently pulling double duty. Treasury Board President Anita Anand, for example, who picked up transport when Pablo Rodriguez left earlier this year to run for the Quebec Liberal leadership. Dominic LeBlanc, who added Freeland's finance portfolio to his already tripled file of public safety intergovernmental affairs and democratic institutions. You've got Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor, who picked up Randy Boissonneau's employment and official languages files, in addition to her Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defense. And then the red boxes, Marie-Claude Bibeau, Sean Fraser, Collar Qualtrough, Philomena Tassi, and Dan Vandal, who have all announced in the past little while that they are not going to seek re-election. So for those who were counting, along with me there, 9 ministers have either already left or announced they're on their way out since the summer. Who won't be in cabinet tomorrow? New Finance Minister LeBlanc told reporters former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney won't be taking the finance portfolio he just picked up.
When the Prime Minister asked me to be the Finance Minister, he told me that I was going to be the Finance Minister in his government until the next election, that I was going to be the Finance Minister to present the next budget. I wasn't part of any conversations with Mr. Carney, but Mr. Carney isn't about to become Canada's finance minister in the short term.
And our senior political correspondent, Mike Couteur, is with me in studio for the latest details. Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good. Pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Better than the Prime Minister maybe after this week. So that's the backdrop to all of this,
Yeah.
obviously. And we'll talk about the question of whether or not he addresses the elephant in the room, his own leadership. As far as the shuffle goes, what are you learning about the size of it?
Yeah, hearing that it's sizable, and right now sounds like about 10 portfolios will be affected. So the number that you already mentioned and how they have to offload some of those portfolios to other people, to making sure that they are getting those people in those positions. Unclear exactly who will get what. You remember yesterday, our own Rachel Haynes had tracked down Nate Erskine-Smith, asking him if he had been giving the housing portfolio. He yesterday was not denying it, so that is something that I think we're watching right now to see if Erskine-Smith slides into that role. We've been trying to work a number of sources to say who is in, who is out, who will be in town. Right now, it looks like Jonathan Wilkinson isn't going anywhere. My sources are telling me that he is right now in Vancouver, not scheduled to come back. He'd have to if he wanted to be in that shuffle, or if he was going to be in that shuffle. But certainly the Prime Minister has a lot to do here because he has to think about regional representation. Does he continue to keep that gender parity in cabinet that he has tried to keep since 2015? These are a lot of things that are going into the cabinet making right now that is set tomorrow for about 11:30.
And probably no bigger consideration other than whether he ends up presiding over it in the long term, right? I mean, the backdrop to all of this is what happened with Chrystia Freeland,
Right.
The number of Liberal MPs who have come forward publicly this week on our program and on all over the place saying that he needs to step aside. Do you expect, based on your conversations, him to address that question tomorrow?
We're trying to ascertain if he's actually going to speak tomorrow. Right now, that is the question.
We don't even know that, to be clear. It hasn't been confirmed.
And that's the thing. We know that there will be ministers who will be going up to Rita Hall tomorrow. They will be available afterwards to speak about their new portfolios, likely to say they're excited to get to know their new portfolio over the coming weeks, over the coming months, and try and figure out exactly what they'll be doing. Still a question as to whether or not the Prime Minister will be having those conversations or will be talking to journalists. We know he was supposed to have an interview with you, among other media outlets. All of those were canceled. Whether or not he will speak and actually try to quell any types of rumors about what he is doing and whether or not he will be spending the holidays either contemplating his future or sitting there saying, this is my cabinet, this is my team, and I'm going forward. That still the big question hanging over tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm told to, not interpret the shuffle as necessarily he's made a decision one way or the other. So we'll see a few hours from now. Mike, thanks so much. Our senior political correspondent, Mike Couture, all week, as I mentioned, we've been speaking